Hey there, I'm Scott Riley. I'm the founder of Cloud Nexus. We're an IT partner that support businesses all throughout the UK. And today I want to talk to you about how you're paying too much for your IT every month, and more often than not, it's getting in the way rather than pushing your businesses forward. So I talk to MD CEOs, owners of businesses, every day. And they tell me that they care about really 5 key things. They care about their customers and their customer service. They care about everybody being productive, that their data is secure, that their team can work remotely and mobility is really high, and of course the cost of all those services. And usually it's in that order, right? Delivering great service to the customer is paramount. That's what the business usually exists to do. And then the productivity, drives your ability to support your customers in the best way possible. Alongside all of that, we have security, making sure that we're guarding, your intellectual property, your business data, but also that customer data. That's really important. Because your clients trust you. Right? They trust you and they want to make sure that their data is safe. You want to make sure that their data is safe and that your reputation is maintained. And that's how you continue to grow. We see so many businesses suffering data breaches in the news almost daily, it feels like at the moment. But tagging onto that, we have mobility, which is simply just the ability for everybody to work from home. And I think we all know how important that is right now, that's a great experience, and keeping everybody productive and keeping everybody secure whilst they're working from home to help keep delivering great service to the customers. That's what we need right now. So I'm going to talk to you about a couple of things today, which is really, you are paying too much for your IT, as I say, and it's not doing what you need it to do. So first things first, you, like pretty much every other business, has Office 365 inside your organization. And the reality is that you're not using it properly. Okay, so you're paying a monthly subscription for Office 365 for everybody in the business, and you are not using most of the capability that's in there. And I can show you here everything that's inside Office 365. And typically when we work with clients, we'll see that they've probably got somewhere of the top part of this this dial here where they're using email and they're using Outlook and Word and Excel and PowerPoint, all those productivity apps that we all know. But so much of this other stuff is not being used. Now the worst thing is that what's actually happening is that you are now going out as a business and you are going and paying for other third-party tools, other third-party products that do something that you're already paying for. So I'll give you a great example. A lot of businesses might use Asana or Rike or Trello, some kind of project management tool to give you that nice simple view of Kanban boards. Microsoft Planner is integrated inside Office 365. Okay, it does exactly the same thing. Sure, there may be a few more extra bells and whistles in those dedicated products, but actually for the majority of what our clients do, Planner is absolutely perfect. And again, it's integrated into Office 365 and it doesn't cost them anything extra. We also see people using tools like Dropbox or Box.net or Google Drive for their enterprise file sharing. We have some files, we need to share them with a client. We don't know how to do that, or we don't have a mechanism to do that. So again, we're going to go and buy a third-party product. And that's a shame because again, let's have a look at the dial here, and OneDrive and SharePoint are already built in. Now, the reality is it's just that you don't know what you don't know, okay? And that's quite straightforward. We have all these tools, and if we just use them properly, we could really already start to save money in paying for third-party tools that we don't need to use anymore. I'm trying to keep it really simple because I don't want to talk technology. I just want to talk about business benefits for you. So, number one, you have Office 365, you're paying for Office 365, but you're not using everything that it can do for you. And in fact, I'd wager that you're not even using 25% of what it can do for you. We see this so often. Number two is that you're paying too much for the Office 365 that you do have. Okay, again, this I see all the time. So not only number one, you have it and you're not using it all properly, but number two, you're paying too much for what you do have. most businesses that I bump into, they're paying for Office 365 on a credit card, on a monthly subscription because they've bought it directly from Microsoft. And I can tell you that is the most expensive way that you can buy Office 365. If you're on the month-by-month plan with Office 365, you're already paying more than if you were to commit to at least 1 year at a time. Okay, there's a significant difference, at least 30% difference in the pricing if you're prepared to commit for 12 months at a time versus just paying month by month. Now, some of you may have worked with an IT supplier and you've purchased your Office 365 through them. That's great because you're getting the committed annual rate, if you like, by working with them. But have they offered you a discount? Are you still paying the retail price for Office 365? Or is the IT supplier actually giving you a discount? Because I can tell you, I'm an IT supplier, I know what the levels of discounts are that we get. We're very fair, we will offer you a discount from retail because I know we get a discount from retail as part of that reseller process. But an awful lot of IT partners are simply just selling you the Office 365 license and pointing at the Microsoft website and saying, well, it says £9.60 on the website, so that's the price that you need to pay us. And they're not adding any other value back into that. So again, I would just question, number one, you have Office and you're not using it properly. Number two, are you paying retail prices for Office 365? Because there's absolutely no reason to be. Number three, and this is the most important part of any of this, is that the honest reality of why you've ended up in that situation with 1 and 2 is because your IT team are out of date. Now, I'm not going to be disparaging to any IT team because it is such a huge task that they have to maintain day-to-day operations, to look after the users, to repair things, to make things keep going. And a lot of what they do is, it's not thanked. Yeah, let's be fair. If they do a great job and everything works, no one's really running and patting them on the back. But when things break and when it goes wrong, oh my goodness, they're in the firing line, okay? But what I know is that they are so busy, running day-to-day operations. If I look at a typical, 300, 400 person business, they might have 2 or 3 dedicated IT heads. And those guys are really, really good desktop support engineers, great at helping the people in the business. But what they don't have the time to do is to look at what's happening in the market, look at what's happening with new technologies, get time to play with it, get time to research, get time to test, let alone go on a training course, which are usually very expensive. And so they don't have the time to get to know what's moving and what's changing. Now, the reason that that's really important is because I was an IT tech many years ago as well. And to a certain extent, maybe I hope that I still am in some ways, but I've got some very clever guys who'll tell me that I'm not. When I was an IT tech, we had Windows and we had Office 365 and we didn't trust it. Okay, it was not a secure platform. It didn't do most of the things that we wanted it to do. It had basic functionality. And we would laugh when Windows would say, oh, it's a secure system. We laugh at that. And what we did was we would then go and buy, a third-party tool to make it secure, something to do the antivirus or something to stop, email spamming and things like that. We would add things on to Windows and add things onto Office. We would layer on these security tools. And we would keep doing that until we were happy that this machine is secure, that the data on there is secure, that the user experience is secure. When it came to Office, we said the same things. Okay, well, fine, I'm sure it does some things, but it's not very good. So let me go and start to buy some third-party secure tools or more productive tools. Now, the reality is, because of that mindset, we don't trust the Microsoft ecosystem, or typically in the IT team, we don't trust the Microsoft ecosystem. We might have an inkling that things have changed, okay, but we don't have the time to do the research and get comfortable with it. The reality is that the Microsoft ecosystem has changed significantly, and it's where your IT team are kind of out of date with this, that they're not then able to offer you the best advice that helps you say, hey, we have Office, let's drive the most value out of it. Hey, we can buy it through a different supply chain mechanism, but also Thirdly, we can now start to turn off a lot of these third-party products that we're using, because actually it's just adding overhead to everything that we do. It's slowing things down and it's making things more difficult for the users. When we think about what the upshot of all this thing is, you're actually being held back now by the decisions that you've made. So all of these things that are supposed to help users are making it a real nightmare for them. So when someone's trying to work from home, they log into the computer, then they log into a VPN or something to get connected to the office, then they find their files, and they find their emails, and some of those are sitting on a server that's in the office, some of them are sitting in a cloud, maybe it's Office 365, some of them are sitting in another cloud. They're kind of a bit all over the place, and the user experience starts to get very difficult. But I tell you what is really painful then is that for you as a business, your client's data is now stored in lots of different places, and it's managed by lots of different tools, and those tools do not talk to each other. So when we think about security and we think about risk, we're putting our information in a lot of places, but we don't have this kind of cohesive security story. We don't have something that's checking, hey, is all this stuff safe? Is it encrypted? Have we got the right users who've got the right access? Because now we have different usernames and passwords for all these things. So as an IT team, it's very hard for them to say, okay, we need to achieve even Cyber Essentials compliance, right? We need to achieve some kind of compliance. Can we be sure that we have the right access for the right people, secured with the right passwords across all of these different clouds? My goodness, that's a huge job for them to do. Okay, it's very, very difficult in that situation where your data is across all these different places with tools that don't talk to each other. It's hard for the IT team, and it's hard for everyone to be productive in that scenario. So what I'm saying to you is, by having these third-party tools, it's an old school way of doing things. It hasn't kept up with the way that the world's changed, and it's actually costing you more money, slowing down everyone from being productive, and increasing your data security risk. And these things, as we set up at the top, those are 3 of those 5 things that are really, really important to us. And of course, all of that then affects the service that we're able to deliver to our customers or to your customers. So what's my recommendation? So my recommendation for you, and how can we help you drive these real savings that we're talking about? If you've come through this way, you've seen we've talked about savings of £30,000 a year. We've actually seen an awful lot more than that, and that's just the software savings, not including productivity savings and things like the hassle that the IT team have to go through. But how can I help you with this sort of £2,500 a month of savings? Well, so my recommendation is that you work with Microsoft 365, and specifically you double down on the Microsoft ecosystem. Microsoft 365 Business Premium, and again, I'm not going to go into techie detail here because that's not what it's about. But when we talked about Office 365, I let you know already that there's a whole range of products in there that you're not using today. And if you were to start using more of those, we can turn off legacy systems that you have still sat in the office, maybe some file servers or some email servers or some username and password servers. You can turn those off. You can also start to turn off third-party products that your IT team have recommended previously that you pay for. Those can be turned off. Things like your Trello, your Asanas, Rikes, things like that. They can go because we have a tool inside Office 365 that will do that. Now, to take it one step further, Microsoft 365 Business Premium is everything that we saw inside Office, but also advanced security features. So security that's going to protect your customer data, your business data, every interaction that they have over email, sending files, browsing the internet, protecting them from viruses and malware on their desktop PCs. That's going to be added in as an enhancement. And again, you can immediately see, well, that means I can stop paying for things like, mail filtering from Mimecast. I can stop paying for Sophos antivirus, as an example. There are many antiviruses, nothing against Sophos, but you can stop paying for those third-party tools. And again, we're reducing the cost, we're reducing the number of things that we're installing onto everybody's computer, and we're centralizing it into one place. We're centralizing it under the Microsoft banner. Now, I already said to you that your IT team might be a little bit out of date with this guidance and this advice. The good news for you is that I can quickly show you here that Microsoft are now winning awards and they're being recognized as leaders in their field for security. So they're not just good at doing Office and Word and PowerPoint, they're now leading the charge when it comes to enterprise security for your business data and for your customers. Now, again, you don't need to know all the technicalities behind this, but you will know Gartner, and you'll be aware most likely of their magic quadrants, where they kind of indicate who are the real visionaries and leaders in each of these categories. And as you can see here, Microsoft really are, as I say, they're leading the charge with this. So they really, really are a dependable, security company these days. I work with, or rather, we work with some of the UK government defence contractors. Now, the technology that we're talking about here with Microsoft 365 is what we roll out for them. And I can honestly tell you, they are really picky about security. Okay, they are very, very picky. But what we've managed to roll out for them under Microsoft 365 works for them brilliantly, maintains their security and compliance, hits their really, hard-hitting standards for what they need and what they need to be able to prove and evidence that their systems are secure. This works for them. We work with accountancy firms, we work with legal firms, we work with recruitment firms. A lot of the things that we do involve sensitive data, and this platform and the blueprint that we have for deploying this properly works for them. And as I say, the great news is that by doing this shift, because it already sounds like, oh, that sounds, it's going to be more sounds like more expensive. And that's not the case. The reality is, by doubling down on the Microsoft stack, we can actually save money on licenses. So let's just think about it for a second. We're going to have our documents are all going to be in one place. That makes things easier for the users. We're going to have our security all tied together. All of these different things now are under one platform. Our antivirus, our anti-spam, our mail protection, our web protection. All of these things are now managed under one central console. It's in a set of tools that all talks to itself. Okay, so that's now a great place for IT to be able to manage one set of tools rather than lots of different tools. It's easier for the users. Everyone just has one set of credentials, one username, one password, and ideally you'll set up a multi-factor authentication. They'll maybe use their smartphone or a PIN number for additional security, but it's easy for them. They get in, their data's in the right place, it's easy to find, it's all searchable, it's easy to share with third parties, and again, we can very, very quickly see what data are we sharing outside the organization, who's sharing that data, who are they sharing it with. There's less software on the machines, so every machine is running faster, it's running smoother, there's less bump in the way, right? There's less stuff to just get in the way. When you turn the machine on, it's not taking 10 or 20 minutes to get started. And that overall, that just means there's less to go wrong. There's less for the IT team to manage, there's less to go wrong. Your business data is in less places. Okay, so we really are starting to pull this together. And you're taking less risk. That's the upshot, the upshot of it. You are taking less risk. Now, I talked about cost savings. Let me be really clear here. So here's a great example of some retail pricing with some third-party products and everything that you would get inside the Microsoft 365 premium license. You can see straight away that the cost saving for a small business, 300 people and under, thereabouts, is £11 per user per month. And that's just the software. Okay, so we're getting better security, we're getting a better integrated system, we're getting our data all in one place, we're getting a better, more productive environment for our users. It's easier for everyone to use it every day, and actually it's costing us less. And then there's less for the IT team to manage. That sounds great. Okay, when you're in a larger organization, the numbers are very similar. So 300 people and up, actually it's more like £13 per user per month saving. So you're saving significantly straight away just on the licensing. Then think about the time that's being saved by the IT team and the overhead and the management and the reduced risk. That's valuable as well. And then think about the productivity savings. Because we have, worked with our clients. We've seen the Forrester studies as well, and they're telling us, and we see this actively in our clients, that you can save up to 100 minutes a week per person. Okay, 100 minutes a week, call it an hour and a half, right? An hour and a half back in everybody's diary, just because they're not faffing with IT anymore. They're not wasting their time trying to find files and documents and wondering where things are. Where's the latest version? Who sent it to me? It's all easy to do. It's all streamlined. They're not having to start their machine, log into a VPN, jump through some hoops. The machine's on, they're working, they're active, whether that's from home, in a coffee shop or in the office, it doesn't matter. You have this seamless experience for everybody in the business, but it's built to this really high security standard. Okay, so we're not compromising anything. We're turning off a lot of third-party tools that we thought we needed, but we really don't. We're maximizing, like I said, we're really doubling down on our investment in Office 365 and Microsoft 365 to bring in all this additional security. There's just so much more that we're benefiting and so less that can go wrong. So I guess what do I want to say to you today? I think that the real thing is this just makes life easier. It makes life easier for everyone in the business, for their IT team. And when we think about those things that I talked about at the top, the productivity, the security, the cost, the customer service, the mobility, all of those things are ticked off by doubling down here. And as I say, we have a blueprint that we use that gets you from, maybe you're already using, you're already kind of using Office 365 well today, but you're not doing the security aspects. We have a proven blueprint that will take you from sort of zero to Office 365 hero, if you want to put it that way. We'll very, very simply make sure that everybody is getting a fantastic experience and that you are really driving the value out of 365. You're saving money, you're reducing your security footprint, you're giving everybody a best-in-class experience. Now, I think I would love to chat to you more about this. There's so much I can say, and I'm very passionate about this. I wave my hands around a lot. I could talk to you about this all day, but what really brings it home is if I could talk to you in a context that makes sense to your organization, right? So what we've done is we've set up some spaces in my calendar, and you'll find a link on this page where you can book in a call. And this isn't a sales agency thing, right? You're not going to click that and end up with a salesperson. You're going to be chatting to me. I want to talk to you and help see if we're a good fit, right? Can Cloud Nexus, my team and your team work together? Can we help you? But then where are you today kind of on this journey? Are you using Office 365? Have you made a good stab at it? Are you just getting started? And what does the roadmap look like for you? And what difference would it really make for you? And as part of that, absolutely we can talk about some cost savings straight away that would help, to do that. So I would love to chat to you, right? I'd really help get you in a position where you can see what this would do for your business and how we can start to take the pain of IT away and actually free up some time so that people can focus on what they really want to do, which is serving your customers well. Okay, so if that sounds like something that you're interested in, click on the calendar, find a space. As I say, you'll be chatting to me, so I would love to chat to you. Please get in touch. What we've also done through this mechanism here is we've also agreed some special rates for any of our services if you're coming through to us on here. So it's a great opportunity for you to work with us, trial with us, see if we can help you. There's absolutely no commitment though, right? So get on the phone, pick our brains, talk to us, see if we're a good match. I would love to chat to you. So I look forward to that. Please get in touch.